So this is the hole that we have in the tube. This is going to go down through here. We have the nut on the other side. We're going to start this. This is drilled with a the neck size under 3/8. 24/64, so I guess it's 23/64. That's about as far as I'm putting the bolt in, and have the nut on it. And which way forward? If this was sitting like this, so it would be like this because it's sticking out the side. I want to go up the back. This is how I'm going to have it set up. Guide here that gives me where it would be if it was straight. I'm going to this side, I think. I'm just going to touch it. I'm just going to snap it. So I'm going to go and drill that. Just this. You can see the little divot. I'm going to drill that out with my my 9/32, I think it is, a 9/64 bit, and then I'll do that straight through. So I got a hole all the way through, and then I'll use the drill over here. This one's got the neck size up. The screws that I'm putting in are countersunk, so the head's a little bit bigger. So I'm just using the neck size drill bit to get it close to countersunk, and that's about it. Okay, here's the drill. We use a little bit of shards. I didn't clean these off. I'm going to get do that. So this is just the screw. It's straight on through. And this is sitting on top, so I'm going to countersink it with the other drill bit. If you look, you can see the hole on the inside is not clean. So that's what I'm taking out. I don't have a square file that will actually fit in there. So the round file will take most of it off. Occasionally I have to go in with a screwdriver afterwards and clean it up. I'm trying to contain little shards of metal in these containers that are around the drill press, that drill press. I use a slightly different method for the metal saw, but it actually seems to work quite well for the drill presses. The idea is not to get it on the floor, and if you don't get it on the floor, you don't track it around, because I'm finding little bits of metal all over the house. And I actually change shoes when I go in. So, metal shards are very difficult to get out of stuff once they stick to you. I'm trying to take a picture of this. The flash really washes things out. So anyway, this is how it fits in. We're going to get our screw, stick it through, comes out the other side, put the nut on. And this is not the correct method to do things. This is the way I'm doing it. I'm just documenting what I'm doing. This is not an instructional video. If anything, it's a list of what not to do. Because I have bad habits. And I don't do things very safely. And here we are, just a crescent wrench on one side, tightening it up. This is a nylon washer, so it self-locks. So here we have this, and now we're going to get it put into the tube. This is the tube, the nut. And put the nut in, and just kind of have it sitting there. And then sit this in the bottom. It's not going in right, it's cross-threading. So method number 2. Get it lined up underneath. Put the bolt. Right. I did the wrong end. Okay. You have to run the bolt through. Like I said, I drilled it a little small. So you kind of have to cut the threads initially with the bolt. I haven't done that on the other end yet, so I thought it was so hard to run in. The bolt, as you can see, is not threading. So what we're going to do, slide it in, and get that turned down, get it threaded onto the bolt, and then basically using brute force with a big crescent wrench, you will see the nut traveling up. And then so looking at it, I'm going to say that's not quite square. I'm going to say that it's maybe a couple degrees out, but it's actually pretty good. So that's how to make the joint. But that's how I made the joint. That's not how you should make a joint, put it that way. So we've got the top part done. We've got the bottom part done. It's nicely into the spot. The frame is still twisted, but I haven't figured out a way to fix that yet. It looked like it was fixed at one point, and then over a couple of days it went back to its normal shape. So what I'm going to be doing here is doing 4 joints. I'm going to measure from the bottom where the top should be, and that's where I'm going to put it. We're going to have to do all 4 joints, slide them together at the same time. In essence, or probably what I'm going to be doing is I think this is what I'm doing anyway. This is what I'm going to start to do. I'm going to be putting this in here after I've drilled the hole. I'm going to be putting the smaller hole through and holding this in position. And I'm going to do that for all 4. There's going to be a hole sitting, or a bolt sitting out for all of these. I'm going to drill the hole in the bottom of this wherever it needs to be. And I messed up because I should be able to put bolts. I need to put the nuts on the inside here. Well, a nut in here, 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 which means that I need to be able to slide stuff into this end, and this end. So I got the top done, but I'm going to have to take it apart in order to do what I need to do here. Yeah. And it was fitting actually pretty well. Oh well. I'll mark them really well and which screws go in where just in case, and get it put together afterwards. So I guess what I'm going to be doing is putting this tube onto these 2 supports in the correct spot, this tube onto these 2 supports in the correct spot, getting the nuts slid in, getting everything tightened up, and then I'll put these side rails back on with the screws I've got. That's this afternoon's job. I have to keep remembering what's in camera and what's not. So here we have a nut, or a bolt with a hole drilled, a jam nut. There's a nut on the inside, see in there. And this height is 13/16. Now that kind of has to do a little bit with where the hole is drilled. Pretty close with the 4 bolts that I drilled. So I'm going to be putting a jam nut on here threading it through so that I can get in there with the nut, get it jammed in a vertical position the way it's supposed to be, and then get them both slid in like this, and the hole will be here. Get the little bolt run through, and these distances are set up the same as these distances, so it should be square when I'm done. I guess we'll see. So that's the procedure. I'm drilling the holes like I did before, flattening the one side of the threads, using the punch to make a divot for the drill bits. I did learn one thing. If I use a smaller bit, 9/64 is a little bit high for the pilot, or for the pilot hole. So what I'm using is the other bits in the set, since I broke all the 9/64 bits. The 1/8, the 7/64, the 3/32, I think, is the next one down. So I still bent and broke a couple of bits, but it's because the bolt was turning on me, because I didn't have it clamped down on top of the drill table. So I'm using a pair of vice grips to just keep it flat and keep it from rotating while I'm drilling through. That was the horrid noise that was on the video, was the drill bit trying to cut sideways as the bolt rotated. At least that's what appears to be happening, because I'm not doing anything more, and I've had the same two drill bits. I think I'm at the 7/32 for the pilot, and the 9/32 to just drill it out to size. And I've done like 10 holes, and things seem to be working okay. I'm also dipping the bolt in water more often to keep it cool. When it's too hot for me to touch with my fingers, then I dip it in the water. Anyway, that's been an update, and I will finish this up and we'll get it assembled. Here we have the finished motor module. It is a 20 by 20 square, 20 inches by 20 inches, 10 inches tall. It slides in, and at the back, it slides on in. We got about a quarter inch on the sides, and that's what's going to house the motor. So we're going to have structural bolts there, and down here going into the sides of the frame. I wanted to go across here, but that's across between the frame and here, but that's too far a distance. It's going to be exposed for too far. We may actually get a couple of structural bolts, top and bottom, into the frame, which will leave basically this back as the only part that doesn't have a connection to the frame. I think that's going to work. I'm actually quite happy with the stiffness of the bolt, with the smaller bolt going through it, and the nuts on each side. It's working quite well. I can flex it, but what I'm doing is I believe I'm either bending this bolt or I'm actually bending the sidewall of the aluminum. So you flex it, it flexes back. It looks like it's pretty good. I haven't done any testing yet. I will be, but for now, this is what it looks like, and I guess that's about it. So what we're looking at here is not quite first spin, because I tried it off camera, see whether I needed to engage a brake. So that's just 12 volts off this little battery here. Can you see it turning? Yeah, you can see the in here. You can see the key going round and around, and there's some dirt on this side axle. I think you can see. Not as much. Move it a little bit. There. See it moving. So checking to see whether this is a regular DC motor. And if I reverse the leads, we'll go backwards. I expect so. And eureka, it does. So I'm expecting that I've got it facing forward, because when I did plus to red and minus to white, sorry, minus to black, it turned the right direction, turned forward. Now this wasn't entirely intentional, but this piece of plywood that I had sitting on the side that I've been using as kind of a table just happens to be 24 inches wide, and it'll overlap on the back of the frame here for some support. It doesn't get up to the front, but Weston doesn't weigh very much. I don't really think he's going to be stressing the 3/4 inch plywood. So we'll drill some screws in. Actually, we'll drill some holes. And I got some number 14 by 1 inch, which won't get us too far into the aluminum, but we should have a couple of threads. As I said, Weston's not exactly the heaviest person, so I think he's about 35 pounds right now. So that's what we're doing. We're putting a floor temporarily on it until we figure out what's going on with the interior module. So including the plywood base, which I forgot to measure the weight of separately, we are at 45 pounds, which isn't bad, given all the extra bolts and stuff that I put into it. I don't think that's horribly accurate, but 45 pounds is what she was.